Alright, this video is be less affected. That's the title, that's whatever. So, what does that mean, be less affected? What I mean by that is you gotta be less affected by things that happen to you, alright? Like, for example, the weather, what somebody says to you, how your body feels. I mean, you can slightly control that, but you get the point, right? Like, if you get sick. So, be less affected, but be more caring. Because on that note of being less affected, a lot of people would be like, dude, just care less. No, I want you to care a lot about both people and like these things that are important to you, right? Because caring less is just going to make your life more dull. So, be less affected. I'll just give you some examples. If you're taking a cold shower, instead of like tensing up all like this, it's just letting the water hit you and just feeling it. The main thing about being less affected is either feeling it and not doing anything, or just observing the feeling coming and just watching it. Not like, I'll give an analogy. Say there's like this feeling at the door to your quote unquote house, which is just your mind and like the things that actually happen. There's this emotion knocking on the door. Most people don't have like the impulsive like recognition that they're even opening the door, right? So you want to get to the point where you can choose whether or not you open that door. And it sounds like kind of wishy-washy, like how do you even do that? You can, it's not easy, right? It takes a lot of self-awareness, a lot of presence, and all these things that you have to like pay attention to. You can't just be floating idly by and expect to just be a master of emotions. You have to pay attention to them, pay attention to every single thing happening around you in hopes that you can figure out what you need to do in a certain situation. Because say you are like in a fire, all right? In a fire in a building. I know it's pretty tragic, but it's gonna happen to some people, all right? So you can either start panicking and just sprinting around the place, or you can just take a deep breath and then think about what you need to do. Because if the fire's over here, you don't want to go over there. But if the fire's going to be going over there, blah, 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 right? You just need to calculate it in your mind. So that's true for a lot of situations. Having the ability to stay calm and not crumble under pressure, because you can learn this. A lot of people say, oh, I'm just a person that crumbles under pressure. No, you're just a person that doesn't have that much mental awareness. And I'm not trying to diss them. I'm not trying to put them below either me or other people who know how to do this, but I'm trying to just let them know. Because that's how it is with a lot of things. You will just immediately say, oh, that's something that I can't do. No. It's something that you don't know how to do. For example, like, I could say that I'll never learn how to, let's just say, pitch 90 miles an hour. Maybe I won't be able to, but I don't know how, right? I don't know how to have the perfect form. I don't know how to lift weights in order to have a stronger arm, or how to squat right so that I can throw the ball harder off the mound. Like, there's 100 million things, actually. There's so many things that go into each. And I kind of worded that weird, but what I mean is just, when you say you can't do something just because that's how you are, you're just being ignorant to all of these things that could help you become more like that person that can do it, all right? So what I'm saying is, you can control a lot more than you think you can. And I'm not saying just you. You can pray to the Lord. And this video has not been much about God, and I'm kind of realizing that, but it's okay. So, you just have to be calm. And to kind of tie it all together, to make you Christian, that's how Jesus acted, right? Jesus never panicked. He never like crumbled under the pressure, right? Because imagine you being nailed to that cross, or like being crucified, or just all of these terrible things that happened to him. You would have crumbled, right? You would have taken back what you said. You would have stopped. You would have stopped. You would have stopped a million times. But he didn't. He stayed fast on his word, which is just extremely admirable. And there's one thing that I want to talk about. It's not related to really anything I've said, but it's still important. And that is that you can simply, infinitely grow. All right? Because this saying that I learned a while ago is that the greats could be better. Like Usain Bolt could be a little bit faster. Or, I don't know, whoever is the best in their field could be a little bit better. Why? Because there's no, like, skill ceiling in the real world, all right? Like, and that's the thing, that's why people do that, or, like, video game developers do that. They make it so that you can just get better and better and better and better forever, right? They don't want to have a cap, because then once you get to the top, then what you can do, right? You want to keep going. So, speaking of video games, I have had my PlayStation plugged in for, like, the entire week, and I have yet to touch it, which, I mean, I don't know if you care about that, but that's, like, a huge accomplishment for me, because typically, when I'm on this, like, self-improvement / just grind, now it's not self-improvement, it's trying to just grow closer to Jesus and declutter my life, but usually when I'm trying to be productive and disciplined and all these things, if it's plugged in, I'm just going to slip and play it. So, I'm going to be so honest, Sunday night, I played for about an hour. It was planned on my little planner, this thingy. So, I'm not sad that I played. I'm not upset at all. I was just like an hour or two. And I was this close to just throwing everything away to play the games. Because that's how addicting they are, bro. It's extreme. Because I was willing to not only stop self-improvement, but to just throw away my relationship with Jesus and just do all these things just so that I could have fun on a game. Because, let's be honest, video games, they're only like a certain level of fun if you put a certain amount of time into them. And at this point in my life, I can't do that. I can't. I don't have the time. If I were to make the time, then I wouldn't be getting good sleep, or I wouldn't be doing this, or I wouldn't be doing this. I have to have my priorities. So, games are not high on the list. I want to play games every single day. It sounds so fun to just hop on, forget about all my problems, and just lose myself, right? But that's not the real world, all right? That's not what Jesus did. That's not what I should do, all right? And maybe it's playing for an hour with my pops. That's fine, all right? But if I play for like 4 hours by myself with no real intentions, then there's a problem. So I hope you get something out of this video. Moral of the story, you can control a lot more than you think you can control, especially in your mind and like your thoughts. And I could go on making a list of lights like as tall as the Empire State Building, but I won't. So I'll see you tomorrow. My videos keep getting like slightly longer and slightly longer. It's pretty cool. I think I'm just getting back into like talking endlessly, otherwise known as yapping. But yeah, I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.